Good evening, everyone. Bell Carrier, KB Trucks.
Hello.
Where are we at, hon? What are we doing?
We are in Branson, Missouri, and we are going to have a fun night at Dolly Parton Stampede.
We actually parked in the back with the guest parking, and this is a cool little walk up. As you walk up, you can get up close and see some of the horses that will actually be performing in the show. If you look above their stable, you get their names and a little bit of information about them. So this is Boone. He's a quarter horse, and he comes from an excellent bloodline according to the sign. There's Blast and Jonah. This is Rolex. He's a quarter horse. Expecting, you know, with a name like Rolex, he would cost more than a quarter. Carrie fell in love with Smoke.
Handsome boy.
We got quite a few stables. You can see all these guys and gals just kind of relaxing before they go on to perform. And this is the main entrance. Parking lot right behind us is handicap, and we actually had to park back around the corner where the general public parking is. I'm gonna head into the main entrance. This is the main lobby. It's pretty cool painting up there. Told us to go through this way. I don't know what this is. It looks like there's a photo area. Got some old hobby horse type stuff. Looks like we're getting a group photo. Looks like after the photo, there's several different photo places. After we get our photo, there's a gift shop area. Make our way to the pre-show area. At least this used to be a pre-show area. They had a stage in the middle here. And you could sit up top and watch, but it looks like things might have changed. We're gonna go this way up these steps. We didn't know ahead of time where we're sitting, but it looks like we're sitting on the south side, because you're sitting on the north or the south. And this is the arena, and everyone's kind of seated already. I feel like we got here late. This is our seating. Kind of interesting, so that we're in these rows, so everyone's got a good seat of the show. They just got to put us cheek to cheek, so to speak. The neighbor, we're gonna sit. We've got a plate and a bowl, a glass. Gary's checking out. There's a bar menu on a QR code. Gary's scrolling through the bar menu. What kind of items do they have there?
They have beer, and they have some cocktails, and flags.
Whatever those are. Oh, flags, like actual flags. That's not a drink.
No.
Okay. The layout here kind of looks like it's the prairie, and they got some mountains off in the distance. It looks like some trees, a lake, and some stars. For the show, they would not let us take video, so we took plenty of stills. Hopefully they turned out well enough. They had a nice intro where they came out with our host came out and welcomed the crowd. Our servers then gave us our choice of non-alcoholic drinks, soda, sweet tea, regular tea, that kind of thing. And they encourage us to stamp our feet because our hands are going to be full from dinner. And they introduced the sides. In this case, it's North versus South. North was going to be dressed in red, and the South was going to be dressed in blue. And they came out and introduced our competitors for our teams. What about our first performance? It was a
fire horse. So there was a rider, and she was on two horses, and she jumped through fire and did some other stuff.
And then for our first course, we had some vegetable soup and biscuits. What do you think of the soup and biscuits?
Oh, the soup and biscuits are so good. You don't need to have any butter or anything on that biscuit. It is fine just on its own. The vegetable soup is really good. They actually sell it in the gift shop, too, because it's very popular.
And that bowl, if you look, there's a handle on it, so that you can, that's how you drink the soup, to pick it up and drink it. They don't give you utensils.
There are no spoons allowed.
So that's how you drink it. You don't sip it, you drink it. And then they had some buffalo come out, and they talked about the history of the land with Native Americans, and they had some drummers come out of the ceiling. And with that, they included some
aerial performers. You know, they did a nice little routine. It was very pretty.
Yeah, and they were dressed as a bird. represent Native American culture and their gods. And then the settlers arrived, and they had their covered wagons, and they danced.
Yep. They had a little party, little fire in the middle. They all did some dancing. It was fun.
And then it was supper time as they start serving our meal. Our meal included a whole mini chicken. What do you think of the chicken?
The chicken was fantastic. I mean, had great seasoning. It was really juicy. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I mean, you got a whole chicken.
Yeah. They also gave us, there was a baked potato, but it's more like they cut it in half, so it's kind of like a really big wedge.
Yeah.
What do you think of potato?
But also seasoned very well, and it was like crispy, so it was kind of, it was like a half-baked potato, but it was like crispy like a French fry. I really enjoyed it.
And they also gave us a piece of tenderloin. I thought it was pretty good. Tenderloin, I find, can be easily overcooked and tough, and this was still pretty juicy and tender and had good flavor to it. What did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it myself.
And they also gave you a side of corn on the cob. I thought it was kind of standard. I didn't think it was anything really...
Yeah, it wasn't fantastic, but it tasted okay. For what you can get for, corn on the cob that serves hundreds of people.
Yeah, it was cooked well. It just didn't have seasoning or anything I really thought to it. And then we also got introduced to our other kind of host, you could say, Skeeter. He came out and welcomed the crowd. And then from there they did some trick riding. So the riders came out and they did trick riding where they did like handstands and things like that on their saddles. Kind of cool to watch. And then they did square dancing with the horses. So they did square dancing with horses. So the horses kind of did the movements, not people. They did the square dancing with thing. While we ate, they did like a little Skeeter and her host did like a little magic trick type shell game with the person. Kind of interesting to watch. And then they came out. The aerial performers came back out and they did silks. Talk about that.
There's a little romantic dance that they did with the silks and we're up in the air.
By this point, we're kind of mostly through our meal, and they started the North versus South competition. They did the intro and talked about the rules, and so they're going to have multiple rounds, and each team, if they won a flag.
A flag and a medal.
For the first competition, what did they do?
They did some equestrian skills flags, so they had flags and they had to weave around and barrels, and it was a race.
Yeah, they grabbed the flag and put it in a barrel at the end. For that, the South won. That was our side. We were seated on the South side. And then they brought out some kids for a
chicken chase, and it was literally a chicken chase.
They had 3 kids from each side chase a chicken to cross the line on the other side. North took the victory on that. And then they had another crowd-involved volunteers from the crowd. They did a bucket brigade race. Do you remember how that worked?
They had volunteers and they had to bring buckets of water and you had to fill buckets, and then the first team to pop their balloon won.
And then they had another volunteer group, a couple people. They had one guy from each, from the North and the South competed. They basically played horseshoes using toilet seats.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun to watch. The South won that one again. The guy, he got really close on all 3 of his throws.
He did really good. He must play horseshoes a lot at home because, he was pretty talented.
And then they had what they called the K9 Caper Dog Race. Carrie was all into this one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was cute. They did hurdles and agility tunnel and everything. So
yeah, they actually did 3 races with the dogs.
Yeah.
And that went between the North got 2 of those and the South got 1. Then they did a thing that was kind of interesting called the Cowboy Joust, where they had a couple balloons out there, and they had 3 competitors each side, I believe, if I remember right. And they came by and they had sticks with, I'm sure, had a needle at the end that poked balloons. And that went to the South again. And then they had the pork chop down pig races. They had 2 different races. They had a race and a pig hurdle. That's kind of fun to watch little piglets run down the stretch, so to speak. And the hurdle one was cute, where they had to jump over the hurdles.
Yeah.
And then up next, we met chicken nugget. Skeeter, comic relief, came out there with his chicken. And then the final competition, they had a stand race. Do you remember how that stand race went?
Yeah, the servers ran from one end to the other, and as they were running by, then we had to stand up and salute and sit back down, and whichever side got to the end the fastest was the winner. And
the South won that one. And overall, the South won the competitions. What was the total? It was like 6-4.
I think it was 7. It was 7-4.
Okay. And then they had a nice close with Dolly Parton singing, and just a reminder that North versus South were all Americans, one nation. We're making our way out, and at the bottom of the steps, you can meet some of the performers. So there's a little bit of our meal, our time at Dolly Parton Stampede. I guess overall, what would you say?
Oh, I mean, we've done this show before. This is always a lot of fun. So I had a really great meal. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, definitely would do it again.
Awesome. Well, that's it for here, but we want to thank you for joining us. I'm Bill.
Yeah, I'm Carrie.
You've been watching KB Treks. Please do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Until then, good luck and have fun.
See ya.